There we go. I feel like a bat. Freaking bats with my little wings up. So, what day is it? Who am I? What are we doing here? It is Wednesday. I'm practicing. Shit. It's Wednesday, November 26th. Blonde Cheryl, you're always so prompt. I freaking love that. That's so awesome. Wednesday, November 26th, aka Thanksgiving Eve. It is noontime Eastern. Noontime Eastern. Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach, at your service with my trusty hot tea at the ready, much like Jeremiah Poop, for those who know, who knows. And I will be here. Leslie, good morning, or excuse me, good afternoon. Yeah, literally, we just hit the afternoon part, so good afternoon to you as well. And I'm going to be here doing this TikTok live for an entire hour. Yeah, from noontime Eastern until 1 p.m. Eastern. And then, I don't know about you guys, but does anybody have some prep to do for the Thanksgiving? I do, not a lot. But here's a funny thing. I was asked to make green bean casserole. Now, usually I make the green beans, as I often do. And this year I was asked to casserole it up by. And yay, Silver Fox says, great video to prep by. Yes, please feel free to do your prepping as I am here just chatting with you and keeping company. Now I love it. Leaping Lulu is like, no, I don't have any plans. Yay. So Danielle, the funny thing is, so green bean casserole, earlier when I did some grocery shopping, maybe last week, I bought the canned soup. I bought the little crunchy onions, and all of a sudden it occurred to me last night I have forgotten to buy the beans themselves. So yes, Blonde Cheryl, hubby got home safely last night. Yay! Yay! He's out getting his hair looking a little bit less rock and roll, a little bit more of Thanksgiving-y. Thank you for asking. And so after I do this TikTok live and he returns, we're going to go out to the farm stand and get ourselves some beans. Now, isn't that nice? Have plans, nothing to prep, to just show up. Yeah. I know, yeah, Danielle. So it's funny. I some of that stuff I did buy early, but I didn't want to buy the beans early because I didn't want them to go bad. But yeah, so I'm going to go out and get the beans, and I do have a backup plan. That if we go to Farmer Joe's and he does not have the beans, we will go to Wegmans. Or, we'll find a place. So anyhow, but in the meantime, here we are. I don't know about you guys, but isn't there a different energy around the holidays? Like today, it doesn't feel like a regular Wednesday to me anyway, because tomorrow's a holiday, and even the days after that, the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so the energy is a little bit different, and maybe that's a good thing, or maybe you're kind of stressing out about, clutter and stuff. Whatever clutter or otherwise, I'm here to help calm down your nervous system, help you not be so frantic city. My frantic city. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Help you calm down. Christine, I just saw you pop over with your little umbrella and heart. Nice to see you. I'm here to help. I'm one of Mr. Rogers' helpers that has shown up on your TikTok either by plan, because you knew I was going to show up, or by happenstance, the universe. So my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, as I always like to introduce myself in case there are any new folks around. I am, as I said, decluttering life coach here on TikTok and on YouTube and on basically the internet. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Destination like a road trip, destination like travel, destination like when you know where you're basically headed, it's a hell of a lot easier to get there than just kind of aimlessly meandering, right? CJ Vasquez says, we love you as a neighbor. Thank you. I think I am a good neighbor. I am. I'm not State Farm, though, but I am a good neighbor, and I have good neighbors. I have a bumper sticker, not on my bumper, on on our refrigerator that says, if you want to have good neighbors, be a good neighbor. And I believe I got it at the Ernest Tubbs's record store when that was still open in Nashville. But yeah. So just like neighbors, I'm hanging out with my coffee. We're hanging out at our respective kind of kitchen tables, as it were. And I am here to help you with the way you're thinking and feeling and doing about your clutter. Okay? So what is clutter, you may ask? Lucky you if you don't know what it is. Many of us grew up with it. Many of us cluttered up our lives for decades. And then luckily, I almost said yuckily. That would be a fun opposite of luckily. Yuckily, we cluttered up our lives, but luckily, some of us have figured out a way out. And man, when I have the escape route from living in clutter, I want everybody to escape the clutter with me. So I have made sure that the path makes sense, that it's safe, that it's easy, that you don't feel scared to start the journey out of your clutter towards a less cluttered life. So I show up and do these lives, and the thing I love about the live, notice how I stumble on my words. What I want to offer to you is this. If this were like a recorded podcast, I would be just talking about whatever I want to talk about. I can do that, but I would so much rather interact and engage with you and help you with what you're struggling with. I'm pretty good. I will be honest with you. I am psyched. I am psyched that I can say with absolute certainty that my life is going well. I haven't always been able to say that, clutter-wise and otherwise. I'm feeling good about me, so I'm all set. I know if I needed help, I could ask my neighbors, my friends. I know you guys would send me good vibes. But I'm good, so I want to turn this goodness, and I want to expand it, you know? So this is the cool thing about the live, is the interaction between us, okay? So, yay, 1963 says, I am grateful to have you and this awesome group of ladies, and there may be people that are not ladies here too. We don't know. But yes, it's a wonderful group of people. Not a lot of trolls. We kick them to the curb really quickly. And so Leslie is saying, I want to use the lead up to the holidays to continue decluttering, trying to make a plan. Any ideas? Boy, do I have ideas. Yes. So Leslie, if you and I were hanging out and you were asking me, so I want to keep on decluttering kind of up to the holidays, but I don't want to be overwhelmed. This is what I would suggest, and I will give everybody here the basic framework, and as if you've never heard this before. So I'll start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. I usually say start because my Boston accent comes through. First, I want you always, everybody, right now here, I'm turning and I'm putting my feet down on the ground, and I'm just going to do a scan of my body to check how I feel physically. So before you do anything, make sure you're feeling at least okay physically. You don't need to feel stupendously fabuloso. If you do, that's great. But if not, okay, a half a tank of gas in your tank is good. So that's the first one I would recommend, to remind yourself, Leslie, don't over anticipate what you're going to do if you're not feeling well, okay? So that's number one, is always going to be, as I like to say, from the crown on down, doing a body scan, checking, make sure your body's okay. Whatever you're not feeling well, do something, okay? Do something to change that. And usually, you guys, the change is the opposite. If you're all hunched over, you want to go like this. If you're all feeling all anxious, maybe you want to, get some of that energy out, dissipate the energy, do the Kermie, get that energy out. And then the next thing we want to do is just make sure that your nervous system is kind of regulated, kind of like not too up here, frantic, not too down there, like, are you alive? I'm feeling kind of dead. Almost like those little EKG machines you see on like those, General Hospital or something. You want to feel right around here, okay? Bobby Dugas is offering, start with water. I'd be lying if I said there's water in here. I'd put it in the rest of the thing, but yes. Calming down your nervous system from the anxiety so you're feeling better. Stretching now, says Christine. Yes, get your body involved, not just your hands when you're decluttering, but treat your body like the whole thing it is. Physical and then nervous system. Calming down, slowing down, breathing down, quieting down, all the downs. And then this, if you've done those first two things, Leslie, I would say my advice to you, if you want to use the lead up to the holidays to continue decluttering, trying to make a plan, this is where I would write down, okay? I would write down. Now, what would I write down? I would write down kind of anything that came to my mind as far as my decluttering, kind of defining my destination. So my destination, this is the great thing. I gotta always give props to my brain a number of years ago for calling my coaching, deciding one day, hey, you know what you should call it? Try Destination Decluttered, because that grounds me to say, yes, you're right. What should I do? I should, at least jot down something that I'm aiming for. So Leslie, I would say to you, what are you aiming for? What would you like your home to look like or feel like, for the holidays? That may be enough to get you started. And just as I like to say, whatever comes up, I use the word down a lot. Whatever comes up, write it down. So the holidays, decorate for the holidays. Use only the decorations I want. Declutter any decorations that I didn't use last year and I am not too psyched about using this year. Don't overwhelm myself with whatever. Maybe I want to go through some family photos and do some decluttering of my sentimental objects so that I can share the photos with the people that I may see during the holidays, or even if I don't see them. Perhaps I want to take a picture with my phone of a photo I found, or I want to mail it to them as a surprise. It really will depend, Leslie, on what your goals are. So think about that. What are my goals? Another thing, as far as writing it down, the fourth down is going to be chunking it down. And chunking it down means kind of chopping things down into smaller bits. Now, the neat thing is you and I, typically, all of us here, when we are decluttering a home, a house, wherever you live. And already your home is chunked down into rooms, okay? And chunking it down makes it more doable. All right, so CJ Vasquez is saying, coming out of major depression, yay for coming out of it. But completely overwhelmed by the mess and chaos, unable to start help, please? Okay, I got you, hon. I got you. Calm down that overwhelm. Use the opposites. If you're overwhelmed, where do you feel the overwhelm? How does it feel? Notice, get curious about how you know that you're feeling overwhelmed. Where does it show up? Is it a thought in your head? Maybe. Is it a feeling in your body? Maybe. Is it a combo pack? Buy one, get one free, a thought causing a feeling? It might be. Write these things down. Notice when you start to notice that you're feeling of the overwhelm. And the great thing is, CJ, is what I was about to mention to Leslie is what I'll mention to you too, is oftentimes overwhelm, buy one, get two free. Yeah, that's the kind of combo we don't want, right? Overwhelm tends to come from, in my professional and personal experience, it tends to come from looking at the big picture and feeling powerless and hopeless. It is so big and I am so small, I cannot do anything about that. Okay? So what I want to offer to you, CJ, and anybody, is the chunk it down method. Now make sure before you're doing that, notice, could you make yourself feel any better physically? Yeah, I look at it and shut down. Are you looking at one specific thing or are you looking at the whole entire thing? I'm thinking you may be looking at too much. This is a wonderful thing. Boundaries, blinders, putting blinders on can reduce your feeling of so much everywhere. Oh my God. And then the drama queen. Oh my God, this is so much. See, you're looking at the whole thing. I love that. So CJ, seriously, look at a smaller chunk. Yeah. Look at a smaller chunk. A smaller chunk brings things down into the realm of, I can get started with this. Okay? And what I want to offer to you is this, is when you are looking at your clutter, even if you're looking at the big picture, I want to give you a visual and a thing to remember, and this can help all of us, is all of your clutter is basically consists of 3 categories. Now notice how I'm putting my 3 kind of sideways versus like this way, because it goes from the top to the bottom, from the shallow end to the deep end. All right, so number 1 is surface level clutter. Number 2, my fingers were hurting. For surface level clutter, the second level is stored clutter. The third level is sentimental clutter. Surface, stored, sentimental. Yeah. Leap in the Lulu. Neurospicy. Overwhelming yourself. Don't do it, you guys. Don't allow yourself. There's a part of yourself that gets easily overwhelmed and shuts down. There is another part that we can wake up to say, wait a minute, we don't need to do that. We can do this instead, which is if I see it all and I get overwhelmed, notice that the all is causing the overwhelm. So don't look at it all, look at some. Okay? And Aziz, could you speak more slowly? I can only speak at the rate I speak, and I tend to speak quickly because I grew up on the northeast of the United States. Okay? I will endeavor to speak more slowly, but I can only do what I can do. Okay? So what I want to offer to you is the chunking it down will also provide a calming effect on your nervous system. Really, the writing it down also slows down your body and slows down your nervous system because you're matching the speed of your thoughts, because you're writing them down, to the speed of your body, because you can only write as you write slower than you think. Okay? So please notice this. Writing down will also provide that calming down effect on your nervous system. Slowing down gives you a chance to really figure out, wait a minute, what am I being overwhelmed by? Okay? Leslie, I love that some of her destinations have come through and she's written down simpler decorations and reviewed my stored stuff. User 1963, I want to declutter daily now, but sometimes I only have a few minutes. I'm trying to say that's okay. I will reinforce with you. That is okay. Actually, that is the key to a lot of it. User 1963 is not thinking I need all this amount of time and I don't have it, therefore I do nothing. Is I have a few minutes, what can I do with the few minutes I do have? And then you do something, and that stops the clutter from piling up again. Okay? So, I will offer to you that this is how it works. How do you declutter if you're in a deep depression? Soul sister, and I mean this with the most love, don't start with the decluttering. Start with addressing your depression. Yeah, this is why earlier, and I will be happy to repeat myself over and over again, starting with how you feel physically and in your nervous system before you start anything. Now, I'm not saying you can't do anything until you figure out you feel better from your depression. But what I will say is I hope you are getting some help and helping yourself to get out of the depression. Okay? And while you're doing that, okay, seriously, is the, shit, I totally just dropped off there for a sec. Give me a chance to get back on here. I was thinking depression, getting started. Here's the thing, Soul Sister, I'm glad I was able to get back on track, is you may be overwhelmed and think I can't do anything. So this is where we start in the shallow end of the decluttering. Okay? The shallow end of the decluttering for everybody. It's a wonderful place to start, and it helps to start here when you want to go deeper. Okay? So notice you even said deep depression. Let's work on the shallow end of the decluttering. Surface level decluttering. Any horizontal surface in your home is considered a possible place where clutter can grow. Anything from your desk to your kitchen table to your counters to your floor, anything that is a surface area may have some clutter on it. Now, the good news is most of the clutter on a surface is stuff that has a home and it's just not there yet. Okay? So you can start small, but just start with the things, that are easy for you to put away or throw away. You can get started. And oftentimes, getting yourself in gear, not saying I'm depressed, I can't do anything. You could say, I am depressed, I feel depressed, and I can do something even when I'm feeling depressed. I don't need to. I do not recommend diving into the deep end. Do not go into your sentimental clutter, the deepest of all clutters, if you're not feeling strong physically, emotionally, nervous system. Do not go there. You're going to feel like you're drowning in a pool. So just don't even jump in. Be over in the kiddie pool. Go in as far as your ankles and just get started. Okay? I hope that helps. All right? Now, Leapin' the Lulu says, haven't decorated for Christmas in years. I bought a tree in the hopes that it will motivate you. Okay? I hope it motivates you too. So how can that tree motivate you? How do you want it to motivate you so it can help you? Again, you can write it in the comments, but everybody, anytime I do a TikTok live, I will not be doing one tomorrow because it's Thanksgiving, and everybody's going to be busy, I assume. Maybe I'll do a pop-up. We'll see. No guarantees. I will be doing a pop-up TikTok live on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm promising I will do one, but I'm not promising the time I will start because I want to give myself the flexibility of doing it whenever I feel like it. But just know that it tends to start at the top of the hour, Eastern time, and it will probably be somewhere between 9 and noon. All right? So, yeah. So, okay, so you've got the tree you're gonna hope that I gotta make room for this tree. I gotta get rid of the clutter to make room for the tree. Okay, so that could be a good thing. So Leapin' the Lulu, motivating you to get rid of the tree. And what I was gonna say was whenever I do a TikTok live, please take notes. Feel free to take notes. This is nothing that I'm like gonna sell you in a book. The other thing is too, is if you don't have the opportunity to take notes right now, but you're thinking, man, there's some good stuff in here. The cool thing is this TikTok live is being recorded and I will upload it to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel this afternoon. So it will be available for you to replay. The cool thing with that is, and I will say this especially for my people who struggle with how quickly I talk, or if you miss things, is that you can put on captions. You can slow it down. You can stop and repeat if I miss something so that you can capture all the essence. If the real-time thing is going by too quickly, the replay is under your control. Okay? So what I would say, Leapin' the Lulu, you bought something hoping that would spur you into action to declutter. So I would say this, Leapin' the Lulu, you have a chunk of your home where you envision that tree. You have a room in that home. So destination, whatever room it is, tree room. Going in that room right now, even without going in it, you probably know you can picture some stuff in that room that you could write down that you know is clutter that you could easily go through. Am I right, Leapin' Lulu? I would start with that, and here's one of the reasons why I also encourage you to write down the things. Even if you know it up here, I'm going to do it. When you know it up here and then you do it, you miss an opportunity to generate some precious dopamine. I'm speaking specifically to my neurospicy ADHD different thinkers, as well as you boring people who just think regular. Okay? When you write down an action and you put like a little box on it, and then you do it, you can then check the box. You can then cross out what you did. And look what I did. I got my body involved. I'm making progress. I'm documenting it so that I have a list of evidence of the things I have done. So even if you know it up here, write it down anyway. Because why overwhelm your brain with being a list keeper? Lists are better for you if they're on paper, okay? Hey, Books. Nice to see you. Now, Dawn is offering. Okay, Dawn is offering when I need motivation. This is what Dawn does. I set a timer and do a 5-minute tidy. I can do 5 minutes. Yes. So notice, chunking it down into 5 minutes can get you started. Yeah. User 1963, it runs in my family as well. That's why I am so comfortable talking to my people. Okay? So we can use these things to help us, unlike maybe some other generations. So Dawn is saying I chunk it down and I set a timer to kind of get me started. But the neat thing is, setting a timer to get you started, keeping the timer on allows you to stop after 5 minutes to then be the decision maker. Do I want to do another 5 minutes? Oftentimes when you get started, you can maybe go on. Sometimes you don't want to, and a timer is great to at least keep you. It's like when I go on the treadmill and I don't want to be on the treadmill, I'm like, I will stay until it's 20 minutes. Okay? And Unfiltered is saying it is so gratifying to check things off. Yes, it is a dopamine hit. It's ta-da! I'm checking it off. I'm crossing it out. I'm getting shit done. Who doesn't want to feel like that? That feeling in your body is an energy you can harness, or not even harness. You can work with that energy. You can dance with that energy. Why put it in a harness? But putting in a harness is almost like, you have the energy of a dray horse in front of you. You put a harness on it, and that energy can help you plow through. Right? Now, I want to get back to something, because somebody's cat said, I have a bag of shoes to repair, as well as clothes, that I can't seem to let go of. Well, Kat, what I'm hearing from you is, you don't have to let go of them. Do you want to repair them? Here's a fun thing. I don't know if you have a cobbler, as I like to say, if you got a cobbler in your neighborhood, we have what we ladies in the town refer to as the hot cobbler. And no, I'm not talking apple and blueberry. I'm talking easy on the eyes. Go find a cobbler. See if they're cute. Bring your shoes in. You don't have to let it go. You can repair it if you want to. Okay? Now, Leap and Lulu says, my chunk is currently a trash bag. I tell myself, fill one bag, and sometimes I make it two. Okay. So Gina Lynn says, every time I watch your live, I'm able to get things done. Thank you. You're welcome. Gina Lynn, the cool thing about this is that I know the secret sauce, and I'm sharing it with you. Okay? So I know that it's easier. People have told me it's easier for them to get stuff done when I'm around. And you know why? Because my energy is contagious. It is me imbuing you, sharing the energy of love, of fun, of possibility, of encouragement. I talk to you the way I want you to learn to talk to yourself. I can do this. This is going to be easy. It's going to be fun. How can I make it fun? That's why, actually, I want to take a look, because it's kind of fun right now. That's why I have always, for the past number of years, that I've been doing TikTok lives and YouTube lives. I record them and upload them to Destination Decluttered on YouTube, because I'm not always going to be here. I travel, and sometimes when I do my lives, it's not convenient for you. That's why right now, as we speak, 904 videos available for you to put on in the background to learn how to better speak to yourself, to check in with your body, to calm down your nervous system, to write down what's going on in your head and chunk it down until it feels doable. Okay? So yay, thank you for letting me know that, but you can do this too. All right? Now, Silver Fox says, I'm buying shelves for my mom's estate sale stuff to sell. Awesome. Having a place to put it can help. All right? So, yeah. So I offer to you, when I'm traveling and when I am not doing a live that is convenient to you, please know that there are literally, think about it, 904 divided by 2 is what? 452, which is more than 365 days in a year. You could listen to an hour-long recording of a TikTok live or a YouTube live, a different one every year for almost 2.5 years and never repeat the same recording. 2.5 years worth of an hour-long infusion of good stuff is available to you for free, because that's how I roll, except for with my one-on-one clients who allow me to be generous with my time. So hopefully you're learning how to also bring that kind of energy and thought process and practice into your own life. Okay? So Leap in the Lulu, I want to get back to you and Destination Christmas Tree, hoping it makes me motivate you to get the room done. So I would write down whatever room that is, destination living room. Goal, have a place to put the tree and have that room look nice. And then I would almost paint the picture of it in my head, but I'd write it down. I want to have the tree in the upper left-hand corner near the front door. I don't want anything else to be around it. I want to be able to sit in the chair and look at the tree with the lights on, so the chair will be clean, and be able to put my teacup down on the table next to it. Create the picture of what you want it to be. That is the destination. And then really the only thing that's in the way, besides some thoughts and feelings, which I shouldn't, minimize, the only things that are in the way of you doing that is just some stuff in that room. Okay? Now, Kat, I also want to say, because I'm just scrolling back, you just love the shoes and the things that need to be repaired. If you truly love them, get them repaired. Get them repaired. Honor them. If you love them so much, take good care of your toys. Okay? Take good care of your stuff. If you haven't done that now, start to do it. Some things are worth repairing. Some things, sadly, are not. But find that out. I have gotten more joy when I have decluttered and I have fewer items, but better quality, and I take care of them. That gives me some satisfaction. It honors my items that I've decided to keep. Okay? Yeah. So Leap in the Lulu. Notice this, and this is a fun thing that I offered when I was doing some one-on-one coaching earlier this week, so I will suggest this to you too. Right now, if you look behind me, I've got this like road trip thing above my head. So oftentimes we're starting at this very beginning, right? When you know what you want it to look like, which is different and which is usually the opposite. I want you to think of that, the opposite. I have a thing in that corner. I don't want that thing to be there because I want the tree there. Okay, what is that thing in the corner, and what is a better place for it? Now, Christmas tree decluttering is kind of funny because you will temporarily possibly move some stuff that will only be in its home temporarily for like the next 2 months or so. 6 weeks really. So it doesn't have to be a permanent home. Like I'm envisioning where we used to have our Christmas tree and there's 2 bookcases. We're not moving those, they're too heavy. So we changed where we put the tree. And there's a guitar amp right there, I know, without even being in that room. So we will temporarily put that amp elsewhere so we have a room for the tree. When the tree is down, that is technically the place where the amp lives, in my living room, in our living room, because it's a cute amp. So I say to you, notice that you may not need to find a perfect alternate forever home for some of the things that you move away when you are decluttering for the holidays, Now, isn't this interesting? I love this dynamic because user 1963 says, I have been purging my bookshelves, selling to bookstores and donating the rest to free libraries. User 1963 is finding it easy to do it. CJ Vasquez, on the other hand, is saying, purging books is so hard. If you think it is hard, you will make it hard. Notice, user 1963 doesn't think it's hard because they're doing it. They are doing it because they don't feel like it's that hard. So I say this as a lesson, CJ, find out why you think it's hard, but just because you are telling yourself it's hard doesn't mean it has to be hard. What is it about, and this is where you go deeper. This is why I'm a decluttering life coach, because I do go deeper. And I say, why is purging books hard for you? And I would say, you don't have to share it with me, but write it down in a note to self. Because I spent money on them, because somebody gave it to me, because I was told once that people that don't have books are dummies, and I don't want people to think I'm dumb if I have no books. Okay, CJ Vasquez, notice, most of my books are sentimental. So yeah, that level of sentimental clutter, no matter what it is, if it hits that deepest level of sentimental, will be a level of stuff that will require more thought and feeling and energy and time for you to make a decision you feel good about. But notice, CJ, notice, you started with a very vague, a very general thing. Purging books is so hard. Purging sentimental books is harder than purging surface level books. So I ask you, CJ, you could play with this. If you want to use your books as an example, I'm thinking some of your books are sentimental and some of them are not. So you could start with the surface level books, the one you bought for book club, the one you took from a free library but haven't written. Not every book is sentimental. Yeah. Now I literally today, I will share a book purging. The other thing too, purging books is so hard. So what could you do that feels better? I say sharing books. Notice what 1963 is doing. You've been purging your bookshelves, but really what you're doing is you are giving your books an opportunity to meet an audience that is delighted to have them. When you've read the book, do you need to have it on your shelf again to reread it? Or could you share that book you love with somebody else? Notice the difference between purging and that feeling of loss and sharing and that feeling of connection. Okay? Excuse me. Yeah. Albright Photography says you loved the book. Maybe write a note of why you loved them and gift it to a friend that enjoy. And I will say this, okay? I get that idea. And however, please do this. If you want to share with somebody why you liked a book, make it easy for them to also declutter it when they have finished reading it. So do not write the note on the pages of the book themselves. First-hand experience, it is more difficult to let go of a book that has your name written in it or in a personal inscription. It's harder but not more difficult. Or excuse me, that makes no sense. Hold on. It's more difficult than books that don't have something written in them, but it's not impossible. I have decluttered 2 books this week that had something personal written on it. One of the things I did, I honestly took my sharp edge and I took a thing and I just cut out the part that had the sentimental thing on it. Suddenly the book is just a book with a triangle page in it. You can do it. But please set up your books to make it easy for you to declutter. And also if you share it with somebody else, for them to pass it along. Think of it as a library, right? Now notice that, Dawn, I struggle throwing away or getting rid of gifts from people because I didn't get a lot growing up, okay? So notice this. Notice that because of how you grew up, you are hanging on to more things than you want. That relationship between your past you and your current you definitely is playing out in your current quantity and quality of stuff you have in your house. I see it everywhere. I hear it all the time. So you're not alone. But what I will say, Dawn, is healing that relationship with your previous self also is an important thing, but also notice when you hang on to too much, it's not giving you a good feeling. When you have just the right amount of stuff, think back to that wonderful Goldilocks. Even though she broke into somebody's house and was eating porridge and sleeping in beds, she gave us that concept of too hot, too cold, and just right. So notice that. Having the just right amount of stuff feels good. The right amount of alcohol in your body, the right amount of food in your belly. Not too much, Not too little, but just right. Sometimes when we didn't get a lot in one part of our lives, we tend to overcompensate in another. And both of those two extremes, the not enough and the too much, both of them kind of feel crappy in their own way. Okay? Now, yeah, I put a Post-it note expiration on items. No decision is a decision. Get rid of it. Yeah. Now, Leap and Lulu says, I have mounds of dog clothes, trying so hard to significantly decrease that amount. Okay. Why is it so hard to significantly decrease it? How could you make it easier to decrease it? Maybe a significant decrease doesn't happen overnight. Think of it as weight loss. Every day you'll decide that you can let go of one less piece of dog clothes. You know? Yeah. Notice chunking it down. Not making a big decision about significant things, but starting with one. What's the easiest little dog onesie you can let go of? Start with that one. Notice that you survived it the next day. Your nervous system is safe. Nothing bad happened. Let's try it again. Let's try picking another one from the pile. Starting small, but just starting. Hey, PM 11208. Hi from the old sod, eh? I lift my Guinness to you, my friend. Yay. I love that you're tuning in from Ireland. That's awesome. Now, Bobby Dugas, again, notice, I go through a small pile of books with first a simple sort of keep it or share. Notice, small, simple, little, yellow, different. Okay? Yeah. Notice the thought, 1963 isn't like I'm losing the books I have, gets you in lack, gets you clingy. I'm giving to people I know sometimes help motivate me. Yeah. Notice Elizabeth Sanchez is saying, I have too much of everything. Notice that doesn't give you the feeling you thought it would. Too much of everything. We thought too much was going to be good, and we found out, not the hard way, we found out that did not give us the oomph we thought. Much like the time I ate too much bacon because I was like, I'm a grown-up, I can eat as much as I want. Well, it felt good until it didn't, and then I felt nasty. Yeah. So notice, too much doesn't feel good. Not enough doesn't feel good. Let's all be Goldilocks-ing, right amount. Now, CJ, reteaching my nervous system what safety is has been an adventure, but it is worth it. And you are so right. You are so right, CJ. And honestly, a lot of decluttering is rewiring your nervous system to feel safe, letting go of something, even if you've been wired to fear lack. Okay? That's really why I am the decluttering life coach, because we are talking about things that are a lot more deep and physical and neurological than just fold your t-shirts nicely and color code them. Okay? Yeah. So I love this. Neural says, I just went through 5 large boxes of books that were mine and my kids. I kept 1.5. So yeah, even at one point you thought you were going to keep 5 boxes. This is a different point on your map. You are different now. And you right now says, I feel okay keeping 1.5 and letting go 3.5. I'm trying to do the math in my head. Okay. Now, Posty Soul, I am learning now, but I declutter and then stuff piles up again. And then I declutter it all again. Here's what I think. Okay. Being the expert in the room. You think of decluttering as almost like yo-yo dieting, yo-yo ma, or, decluttering is independent from how you're living on a daily basis. Notice that. We think of decluttering as a giant pile of stuff. Imagine a pile of stuff, and decluttering is just knocking down that pile until you don't have it piled there. However, if you don't address the root cause, which is your habits of cluttering, if you don't do anything between that, the piles will grow up again. You will create, let's get some ownership in here. You will create the clutter if you don't know how to do something different. So notice there's that gap. You are familiar with cluttering, and you're unfamiliar with living a decluttered life. Okay? So knowing that, you can catch yourself today. How did that get there on the table? Oh, I put it there and I left it there. If I leave it there, I might pile something else on it. So let me do something different and declutter a little bit every day. As part of my everyday walking around my house, I open the mail every day. I'll put a couple of dishes in the dishwasher. I will make sure that my dirty socks and underpants are not on the floor, but they're in the hamper. Little things. Okay? Yeah. Yep. So Elizabeth Sanchez, I see that you are chunking down into categories. Too much in the toiletry department, in the medicine cabinet department, and in the towel department. Pick one of those and go through the process and categorize that stuff and get curious why you kept it. Get curious why you want to let it go and see who's going to triumph. Yeah, no, T-Bug says, my sister holds on to too much. My mind gets boggled around clutter. Everybody is wired differently. I used to be a cluttered person. Even when I was cluttered, I was always neat. But man, could I keep a lot of stuff. It's almost like that guilty secret. When it's neat, you pretend you're not cluttered, but you are. Other people have, as we would say in my family, shit all around the place. Notice how that affects you differently than your sister. So T-Bug, I say to you, I hope your house makes you feel good. Yeah. Yeah. Will this live, and thank you for people. Yeah. Will this live be posted to where I can download and share it? You can't download it, I think. Please don't download it, but you can share a link from the YouTube page, Destination Decluttered on YouTube. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. I appreciate everybody getting back as I'm chatting with one person. This is what happens when there's over 100 people in the room. As I'm focusing on truly trying to help this one person, sometimes somebody asks a question and I can't see it. Yeah. So, thank you guys. I love it. Alrighty. Yeah. So Leapin' Lulu says, I also say my dogs are hairless. The clothes are necessary. Sure. No judgment. But still have way too many. So notice you yourself have discovered that feeling of above the set point. Your own internal set point of this is the right amount of clothes for my hairless dog. And that doesn't need to be a number. Happens to be a feeling. Yeah. Okay. Now I love it. Nirel says, Christmas ornaments. My mom loved collecting ornaments. My brother and I sorted and divided. It is a great feeling to reduce and sort. Yes, I like this feeling of sorting and reducing myself. Elle says the magnets are off the refrigerator and it feels awesome. Yeah. So here's what we're going for, people. I really, personally, I do not judge anybody, so I don't really give a shit what your house looks like to me. What I want is not just so your house looks good, because that's a start. That is a start. But if it looks good and you feel good in your home, that is what we're going for here. Okay, let's not pretend that that's not what we're going for. Let's be obvious. Is having a home that looks good to you and functions well for you will make you feel better. And you know this because your cluttered home is making you feel all sorts of ugly ways. And oftentimes, I will share with you, we live in an overwhelming society. And we can be visually overwhelmed by looking at a lot of things at the same time. Sometimes that can be fun, as this is what I say a lot. It's fun until it isn't. And then it can be overwhelming. So I have places in my home where I have a high concentration of random little things. Here, I'll show you right now. Can I show you? Let's see if we do this. See that? I've got a bunch of random stuff. But I also have space where I have one item. I give my human eyes and brain a chance to rest. I love looking at that sometimes, but I don't want my whole house to be like that. So I contain that maximalist stuff and it brings me joy. But then I have a place where I can look and rest my eyes and give my brain a break from constantly having to process all this stuff. Okay? Now Danielle says you never showed us that before. See, every live is a little bit different. It's been there. Yeah. And notice, you only see what I allow you to see. I love looking at stuff. Would I do this if would I increase this? No, I consciously have places of high density kind of fun, but I more often than not now have more spaces where I just allow my eyes to rest, my brain to rest, because I want to feel better in my home all the time. I want to feel good in my home every moment I'm in it. And anything that doesn't give me that feel-good feeling, I will resolve that. I will figure out why that doesn't make me feel good, and I will do something about it. And that is decluttering. That is displaying things in a certain way that gives me a chance to rest. Yeah. Now, Bobby Dugas says, my stepmom collected space. As I age, I will share with you, I had eras, decades of my life where I collected a lot of little tiny things, and I still have joy with some of that stuff. But man, have I decluttered so much of that, and I have stopped collecting little dribs and drabs of stuff. Yeah? Yeah. And here, you brought up a really good point. Yeah. Neural is saying, I am a child of a depression baby. My dad collected and stacked so much, now I have to sort. Yes, many of us, myself included, got to where we are with the way we think and feel about clutter because of the way we were grown up and the context of the world that the people who raised us grew up in. So I say this to you, yes, and. Yes, I get that, and what do you want? You know? What you want. Do you want to be like that? If you do, you don't need to change a thing. But if you don't want to be like that, you will need to do something different. Yay, Stacy Woods. Today I did 3 separate area resets and I feel accomplished. Yeah. Now here, notice this though. User 1963, I am totally there with you. Saying, what about when your mind tries to repurpose everything? I was a teacher with not many resources. So a couple of clues right there, my dear, okay? One is, I was a teacher. Noticing in the past, this is how my life was. I was a teacher, and when I was teaching, I did not have a lot of resources. Therefore, I used to have to repurpose a lot of things back then. Here, we're in the present, right? There's the past, there's the present, there's the future. 3 is a magic number. User 1963, are you still a teacher today? I'm not thinking you are because you said I was. Things are different now. You are no longer the person you were. You're a different person. And from here, you have the power to decide who you want to be. Now, I think it's cool that you have a creative mind that can see the possibility in repurposing things. I get that too. However, I know that when I saved things to repurpose but did not do the repurposing, that's when the clutter stacked up. When I realized I was saving the ingredients, the potential, the pieces to do something, but there was a gap and I wasn't doing the thing, the stuff became clutter. The thing I realized was, so I'll offer this thought to you to replace the thought of, oh, I could do something with that. How about this? There's potential in somebody, Silver Fox, somebody could do something with that, but it doesn't have to be me. Okay? You see the value in that, but I do not have to be the person who repurposes that thing. Unless I want to be. And if I want to be, I'm going to actively be wanting to do the repurposing. And if there's something that's making you go meh about the repurposing, pay attention to that. I didn't for years. And my basement, our basement, was chock-a-block full of ingredients for craft projects that I never did. And I felt bad about it until I decided to just cut myself some slack and be like, you know what? Think about what you do when you have the time that part of you says, you do those things. What did you do instead? And my answer was, I hopped in my car with my camera and I took pictures of old buildings. And from that's where my creativity flourished. I wrote 5 books. I had a video series. I was interviewed in national papers. I was on all sorts of things. If I had forced myself to stay in the basement and make crafts and resent it, I wouldn't have been able to do that, have that whole life. Okay? Yeah. So Silver Fox says, I hate to throw things away because of what they could be. So maybe you don't throw them away. I have a bag right here of stuff that, little dribs and drabs, as I like to call them, that have potential for a creative person, but that's not going to be me, right? I have it in a bag to give to somebody who's creative, to be like, if you want to be creative with this stuff, have at it. If you want to throw it in the trash, feel free. So you could offer up some of this stuff that you have stored to the creative people you know, or the creative people you don't know. Okay? So think about that. Now, I want to mention, this is really fun. Gen X Debbie Z says, since joining your live, I cleared out under my desk, and I love this because decluttering, we always think it's torturous, but you know what it is? Sometimes it's a treasure hunt. Because Gen X Debbie Z says, I found a gift card for a grocery store. Yeah. How many treasures are buried in your house that you don't even know about because you never go digging for them? You know? Yeah. Now, biggest gain I can put, and this is the biggest gain, I can put my legs and my feet under my desk now, and it feels good in my body. I love it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And Neural, one of the things that all of us are learning now, even those of us who do not have children, is I don't want to leave this mess for anybody else. The buck stops here. No. There are a lot of good things that I can pull forward in our family history to hand down to the next generation. Being a clutter bug ain't one of them. Being weighed down with too much stuff is not something I am going to pass on to the future generations. If anything, I will show them how to live a life with less stuff, but still with more joy. Okay? Now, there we go. All right, everybody. Good stuff here. Donating, selling stuff online. I am not going to leave them with the headache. And I say yes and. I do a lot of yes and. I should have been in like Second City Comedy or something. What I mean by this is, yes, doing it for other people is noble. Yes, doing it for other people can make you want to do it. But for the love of all that is worthy on the planet, get yourself involved. Do it for yourself. So you live in a home that feels good to you. That you don't have to do this at an advanced age. Start it now. So that you're not doing this when you have less memories, fewer memories, less energy, less gumption. Start now so you can start living in a home that feels better than your home does now. Okay? So this may be, and I love this. I am only on for another minute right now, but I will say this. Please think about shopping in your home on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before you go out and add more clutter to your home or somebody else's. Okay? When you maybe make it an act of resistance to not shop on Friday and instead spend that money and that time, not even money, spend your time and energy on Friday going through the stuff in your home and maybe redistributing it so somebody else can get some things, or to just notice that you have more than enough. Yeah. So think of this, please. Think of your abundance today and every day. Because if you have clutter, you have too much. And I'm not saying that, you're saying that. Having the right amount of stuff feels really good. Decluttering does not equal lack. It feels getting down to just right and keeping it there. And I will tell you, that is the sweetest spot to be in. Yeah. Now, what am I going to do? You can declutter if you're anything. I don't give a shit. All right. I am going to be spending a lot of my next many days decluttering my stuff. So I invite you to kind of join along with me. I will be doing some TikTok lives, unscheduled, because I don't want to have a schedule for the next few days. Okay? So I will say to you, I will be there tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. But if you want to know when I do have things scheduled, destinationdecluttered.com is my website. Join the group who gets access to the schedule by just giving me your email address, and I will be sending out an email today. And know that you will know when to tune in, when they're not a pop-up. Okay? Yeah, there we go. My daughter and I are Christmas shopping in my home. I love it. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Be grateful for what you have. Realize your abundance. And then maybe you can share it with some folks. Okay? Now I'm going to go. I'm going to see what's going on with my own life. Have a good one. I got to buy some green beans. That's right. Oh my God. All right? I'll see you guys later. Bye. I'm like, bye. I can never hit the button. There we go.